Warm greetings to all of you, my Africa fans. Welcome. The U.S. has an incoming new administration. Let us ponder a bit about what that new administration could mean for Africa. But before I get to those points, let me first mention that the outgoing Trump administration really tainted American diplomacy and respect for the continent, due mainly to Trump's alleged personal reference to African nations as shithole countries. Here's a quick reminder from 2 years ago.
Using vulgar language, President Trump today questioned why the United States would allow people from Haiti and Africa into the country, describing those places using an expletive while suggesting people from Norway might be more acceptable. He reportedly made the comments during a White House meeting with a bipartisan group of senators. The White House tonight is not denying the president made the remarks.
The outgoing Trump administration had also banned several African countries from visiting the United States. Here's another reminder on that decision.
President Trump expands his controversial travel ban. 6 new countries have been added to the restricted list, including Africa's most populous country and its largest economy, Nigeria. Also on the list, Myanmar, a country where the Muslim minority is fleeing genocide. The Trump administration has already banned travel from 7 other predominantly Muslim countries.
Trump has, in his full first and only term, signaled at best a clear lack of interest in Africa, and even worse, a contempt for it. He has not visited one African nation as president, although his wife Melania did some photo ops and visits to Ghana, Malawi, Egypt, and Kenya. During his tenure, Trump has only received to the White House the presidents of Kenya and Nigeria, while around the same time he imposed visa bans on Eritrea, Nigeria, my native country of Somalia, Sudan, and Tanzania. Further, Donald Trump's decision to withhold $2 billion of the $3 billion pledged by his predecessor Obama has contributed to a huge shortfall at the Green Climate Fund, a contribution that would have enabled countries most affected by climate change, such as African countries. Here's another thing about the Trump administration's latest disregard and disrespect to Africa. Trump opposed the World Trade Organization Committee's 164 member nominations that recommended the appointment of female Nigerian-born Okonjo Iweala and privately asked some members to not vote for her, but instead vote for the South Korean nominee. And this was shortly after the Kenyan female nominee, Amina Mohammed, was bumped off the running, even though she was deemed the favorite for months. In all fairness, there is one credit to the Trump administration with regard to Africa. They actually launched Prosper Africa, an initiative which aims to assist American companies seeking to do business on the continent. However, no big U.S. companies have publicly announced utilizing it yet. Under a Biden administration, the U.S. will most likely return to working with all African nations as partner nations. Many African leaders have already rallied behind Biden as the president-elect of the U.S. Congratulatory messages have poured in from leaders across the continent in the past few weeks for both Biden and U.S. Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. So here are a few key things to watch for during this new Biden administration. The U.S. will solidify commercial relationships with African states. New policy tools such as the equity-backed U.S. International Development Finance Corporation, DFC, and the forthcoming 500 to 750 million African Trade and Investment Program, also known as ATIP, stand to overhaul U.S. policy and significantly move the needle on increasing a two-way trade and investment in Africa. A Biden administration will likely reassure U.S. African allies that they won't unilaterally yank away American security support from Somalia and the Sahel region, which is a shoreline between the Middle East and Sub-Saharan Africa. This will produce sighs of relief, not only in Africa, but also in Europe. A Biden administration will ensure the proper leadership to denounce African leaders who violate the rights of their people and exert diplomatic pressure on them to uphold to international law expectations. And the United States will most likely rejoin the United Nations Human Rights Council, which all civil society holds in high esteem. A Biden administration also brings back the supported advisory of better management of healthcare systems as well as climate change management to African nations. My closing and advice for the Biden administration: they must address and quickly remedy the stain of ignorance Trump created about the continent. One way they can do this is by either inviting the dignitaries of the specific countries offended to Washington, D.C., and reestablish America's proper diplomacy and bilateral relations, or by having our new Secretary of State personally travel to those countries as a goodwill approach and really listen to what they have to say. In the past 4 years, the U.S. has retreated from its usual leadership in Africa, and our African allies have been left abandoned as the world continued in its great power competition, coupled with emerging threats, including this current global pandemic, COVID-19. It will take some really transparent and very genuine political diplomatic moves towards Africa to reestablish the U.S. character overseas. It's a new beginning, and I'm super confident that this new Biden administration will do what is right by Africa. It's a new horizon, and one that the majority of African leaders themselves do welcome. Well, that's it for now. Thanks for tuning in. Come back next time for another topic related to the continent. Love you all, my Africa fans. Hakuna Matata. Bye-bye.